I'm talking to you from on top of our mobile home roof. Joan and Elsie, Anna and Brian are down below. Since the mobile home isn't leveled yet, we're just working on the mildew and the mold that's on the siding and the moss and algae that's on the roof. So what I'm doing is I am using this, see if I can show it here, using this sprayer. It's a bleach sprayer and it's half bleach, half water. Pump it up till you get a vacuum and air pressure going, and then I spray the roof. And then we let that solution sit on the shingles for about 45 minutes. And then I come back with a stiff broom and try to get the worst of the moss off, and then I come back with the hose. So I'm going to show you what all of that looks like, because I've got 3 different stages going on here so you can see.
I feel good.
Okay, there you can see a section of the roof where we have moss growing on the shingles and algae. The mobile home sat in kind of a shady spot. It was up on a hill. It wasn't particularly damp, but doesn't take much for moss to start growing in the shade since we're such a humid climate. So we need to get this off because it causes damage to shingles, and we want this roof to last at least a little bit longer until we're ready to do the roof over. So what I've done is Elsie is waving, Joden's waving, Brian's waving. They're down there scrubbing the siding with old brooms and bleach water. So I'm going to walk over here and you can see where I've sprayed the bleach water. It looks like I have little snowballs all over the roof. And I'll show you up close. So it's killing the moss and the algae. And this stuff doesn't completely come off with the hose water, and we don't want to use a power washer up here in case we might get water under the shingles and do some damage. So I use this broom that you see down here to get it off. So you can see the line right there. That grayish line is where I have not hosed it off yet. Where the broom is laying is much lighter. That's where I've scrubbed it off and I've hosed it off. I did find out while I was up here that we've got 3 shingles that I need to replace, so that's good to know. And somebody must have had Dish TV at some time, or Direct TV. You can see down there all the cinder blocks that are waiting on the guy that's going to come and level it. And then I'll show you an example of what moss does to a roof. This is a good spot right here. This is where some algae and moss grew, and it took off the surface there. And you can see where it grew along the edge. So it's very important to get this stuff off the roof. There's a little bit left. It's loose. Important to get it off. There's another place. We do hope to do a roof over, as I've said. We hope to do a galvanized metal roof over where this roof will stay. Come in and put strips of wood lengthwise down this roof every 4 feet or so, and then we'll put 3/4 inch sheets of insulation between those strips, and then we'll attach galvanized roofing to those wooden strips, and then do a ridge cap and galvanized ridge cap, and we'll add gutters at that time because the mobile home doesn't have any gutters at all. So looking from this direction, you can see I haven't gotten down to the end at all, and you can see the progress there. So I'm going to just do a little, we've got a typical attitudes going on down there. So I'm just going to do a circle from the roof because it gives a pretty neat view. I'm still lower than my mom's house even standing on this. And down there in that muddy spot is where we hope to put the new septic system. We'll have a turnaround spot a little more towards us. And then you can really see from up here all the root balls from the trees that went over earlier this spring. Typically that's not visible when you're standing down there, but I can see it from up here. And that's what we're up to today. So here's a view of the roof after we scrubbed it off. It looks much, much better, but you can see just the speckled black, and that is where the moss and the algae took the actual little granule pieces with it when we scrubbed it off the roof. Now, interesting thing I learned is that these vents here, being made out of zinc, when the rain hits those, it takes with it just a little bit of that zinc on down the roof shingles, and moss will not grow where that zinc is, neither will the algae. So there are roofs that have a small strip of zinc. Copper will do the same thing, but it's much more expensive. We'll have zinc about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches of it showing on either side of the ridge cap. So when the rain comes down, it makes the roof an unfriendly place for moss. Learning something new every day. But it does look a lot better than it did. That was about 10-12 hours of work, and I still have some to scrub on the other side that you can't see. Much more than I anticipated. I think I'll be saying that a lot though.